शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। योगेन चित्तस्य पदेन वाचां मलं शरीरस्य च वैद्यकेन योपाकरोत्तं प्रवरं मुनीनां पतञ्जलिं प्राञ्जलिरानतोऽस्मि। ॐ Dear friends, welcome to the study of the Yoga Sutras. We are in this fourth pada, that is Kaivalya Pada. We completed reading the 11th Sutra, that is a Hetu Phala Ashraya Alambanai Sangruhitatvad Esham Avage Tadabhavaha. That is how to get rid of the vasanas, because vasanas are things which arise as and when there is a small stimulus, they just wake up. They just wake up and then they do cause nuisance to others. So they are definitely a disturbance in the path of a seeker. But for a spiritual seeker, for all of us, it is okay. Vasanas, we may enjoy them. But then for a spiritual seeker, a seeker has to get rid of all those negative vasanas. So that is what we have to see. Even the sattva guna has to be eradicated. A seeker has to go beyond even the sattva guna. So that is what he is. So we saw this sutra about how these vasanas are acquired over a period of time, and how once those causes are removed, once those the causative factors are removed, the vasanas also will be automatically removed. Esham abhave tadabhavaha. So that is what he said. Now we have to. I also read, I think, the next sutra, just read and explained it, but we have to read the commentary. I'll just share the text now. Yeah, the next sutra is this. Atita anagatam swarupataha asti advabhedat dharmanam. Dharmanam advabhedat. Dharma, we know the words dharma, dharma, etc., we all know. But then this word dharma is a peculiar word which is used in, not one meaning, but that there are so many meanings. So dharma, in a different sense, it can be something to do with dharma shastra, etc. But here we are not talking about dharma and adharma. Dharma also means characteristics. Dharma also means the actual objects. Suppose I take a pen, I call it a dharma. Dharmi, sometimes we also call it a dharmi. You see, this pen, I am having a pen in my hand. So this pen is red. This pen is dharmi, and the redness is the dharma. Sometimes we say like that also. Strictly speaking, it has to be told like that. But sometimes the dharma itself, it also refers to objects, depending on the context. So here in this sutra, he is referring to the objects themselves, objects, and also probably to characteristics also. So dharma here, we can take both the meanings because both the meanings are applicable here. Atita anagatam swarupatah asti advabhedat dharmanam. Dharmanam advabhedat. The anvaya is like this. Dharmanam advabhedat, because adva is the time. Adva means, normal meaning of adva is a way, a path. The path is adva. Anadvagaha advasuparaishnavaha. Some Upanishad Vakya, that is the people who want to transcend all paths, they leave the path. So that is what it says. Anadvagaha advasuparaishnavaha. So like that, adva is a way or a path. Dharmanam adva bhedat. Adva here is time. Adva bhedat means what is the difference in time, past, present, and future. That's all. So dharmanam adva bhedat atitam anagatam swarupataha asti. So the question here is, we are now seeing objects in front of us. The whole universe we are seeing in front of us. Was it there earlier, or will it be there later? Later means after dissolution, let us say. And earlier means before creation. So all this question is, all this discussion comes in a particular topic called theory of causation. Theory of causation, which is there in every school of philosophy. We have got so many schools of Indian, not only Indian philosophy, in every school, Western philosophy also, they have to have it. I'm not sure whether they, what they call it, a theory of causation. So this theory of causation is broadly two ways. That is, we are now seeing the whole universe and we say that God has created it. Okay, fine. God has he created it out of totally nothing? Or was there some material for the universe to be created? So if God has created totally new thing, that is called Arambhavada. Arambha means it has just begun. It has just begun, And what was not there earlier, it has come into existence. What was not there earlier, it is called Asat Karyavada. Asat Karyavada means Karya. Karya means the effect. Effect means the thing which the universe which we are seeing in front of us. This was Asat. Asat means it did not exist earlier. Asat does not mean totally unreal. Asat means it did not exist earlier. Then there is another school of thought which says Satkaryavada. Satkaryavada means yes, there is nothing which has come new. The whatever effect we are seeing is something which is pre-existing in the cause. Whatever effect, the universe which we are seeing is pre-existing in the cause. And what is the cause according to Sankhya's? According to Sankhya's, the cause is Prakriti, or what they call Pradhana. Pradhana is transforming or evolving into so many things. All these Prakriti, Prakritir, Mahan, Mahata, Ahankara, Tanmatrani, all these things, these are all the evolutes. All these things, the whole body, mind, all the beings, and all the animate and inanimate things, what all universe which we see is a derivative. It is, they are all the evolutes of the Prakriti. So this is what is called Sat Karyavada. Karyam means the effect. It is something which is Sat. Sat means it existed earlier also, and it will exist later also in some other form. It is in a subtle form, it will exist. So that is what is the meaning here. Atita anagatam swarupataha asti. The past and future of a thing. We have to borrow those words. Or we have to say do adhyahara like this. Existence of a thing in past and future is real. Atita anagatam swarupataha asti. Swarupataha, in a real form, it exists. Advavedat, because of the difference in time, dharmanam. So of the characteristics of things. So I've just given a small note, introductory note. The above sutra, the earlier sutra, spoke of the need for a disappearance of vasanas. The question is as to how they can disappear when they are real. The question is, of course, this sutra is not directly telling us. Later, in later sutras, we'll see that. But this sutra is basically making a foundation for that. What is this Satkaryavada? So how can they disappear if they are totally real? So Patanjali, naturally, Yoga and Sankhya, they are twin philosophies, we can say, sister philosophies. So Patanjali also accepts the Satkaryavada of the Sankhya school. So he says that there is no disappearance of a real thing, but there is merely changing nature of things due to change in time as past and present. So finally, in final analysis, in the later sutras, he is going to say that the vasanas, they get reduced to that non-productive state. That is nirbija, what we say nirbija. So that avastha, nirbija avastha. Then dagdabija avastha also. Then though they do not physically disappear. So that is what happens. Then there is a small avatarika also. Yeah, avatarika I forgot to read. Nasti asataha sambhavaha, nachasti sataha vinashaha. Nasti asataha sambhavaha. Asataha, of something which is not existing. This is absolutely the same as the Bhagavad Gita shloka, nasato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate sataha. Nasti asataha sambhavaha. Existence of something which is unreal cannot happen. Nachasti sataha vinashaha. And there is no disappearance of something which is real. Iti Dravyatveena sambhavantyah vasanaha. Connection is Dravyatveena sambhavantyah vasanaha katham nirvartishyante. So these vasanas which are available as tangible dravyas, substances, how can they be eradicated? So that is what is the point. How can they be made to retreat? Not made to retreat is okay. They are actually made to retreat. But then nivartishyante, how can they be eradicated? So they can't be eradicated totally, fully. They will be rendered ineffective. They will be rendered fruitless. So this sutra we read, existence of a thing in past and future is real because of the changes. Okay. I have not written this also. The word dharma is used to denote an object and also its characteristics. Both meanings can be taken here. Thus the present sutra means that there is existence of a thing in past and future. All real things exist at all points of time. So this is okay. There are changes due to time. Okay. Bhavishyad vyaktikam anagatam. Bhavishyad vyaktikam anagatam. And what is anagatam? Na plus agatam is anagatam, which has not yet come. Bhavishyad Vyaktikam. That which is becoming a Vyakti. Vyakti means manifest. Vyakti-karanam we say. Bhava Vyakti-karana Svecha we say. Bhava Vyakti-karanam means making it explicit. So Bhavishyad Vyaktikam, that which is going to manifest in future, is something which is anagatam, something which has not yet come. Then Anubhuta Vyaktikam Atitam, something which has been experienced, whose Vyakti, that is something whose manifestation, Vyakti is manifestation. So that manifestation has been experienced, that is Anubhuta. Anubhuta Vyaktikam Atitam, that is what is past. Then Swavyaparoparudham Vartamanam. Swavyapara Uparudham. Uparudha, Arohanam means climbing. So which has climbed its activity means, which is right now doing that horse riding. Swavyapara Uparudham. It is right now active. So that is what is Vartamanam. Trayam cha etad vastu jnanasya jneyam. I am just wondering whether we completed this. I don't know whether we read this also. Anyway, I'll read. Trayam chetad vastu jnanasya jneyam. These three, jnanasya jneyam, these three become jneyam, knowable for the jnana, because we know that there is something we have a clear understanding. There was something which is past, now present, and future also. And all the things, they are known, the jnanasya jneyam, they become knowable. Yadicha etat swarupatah na bhavishyat nedam nirvishayam jnana udapatshyata. Yadicha etat swarupatah na bhavishyan, avavishyan, because we are referring to past, present, and future. So if they did not really exist in, they did not exist in reality, if they really did not exist in reality, nedam nirvishay na idam nirvishayam jnana udapatshyata. So jnanam of a totally non-existing thing cannot arise. So because these things are there, the jnanam is arising. So past was also there, future will also be there, and the jnanam of them is there. So tasmad atita anagatam swarupatah asti. So this atita and anagata, that is what has to come, unarrived, and atitam is the gone by. So that which is in operation is the present. All the three are subject to knowledge, they are known. And if they did not exist in real terms from such a real thing, this knowledge would not have arisen. So, but there is knowledge, we do have that knowledge. Hence, the past and future, they exist in real terms. Swarupatah asti. Then kincha, bhogabhagiyasya va apavargabhagiyasya va karmanah phalam utpitsu yadi utpitsu phalam. That is how it has to be taken. Utpitsu, utpadayitum, icha, something like that. Utpitsa. I'm not very sure about the san pratyaya, but to check up. Phalam utpitsu, the overall meaning is the result which is being produced by that. The result which will be produced by that. Phalam utpitsu. So, yadi nirupakhyam iti tad uddeshena tena nimittena kusalanushtanam nayujyeta. We all do all kusalanushtanam. Kusalanushtanam means we do all good karmas. We do so many good activities, good karmas. That would not happen. Kusalanushtanam nayujyeta. That kusalanushtanam will not be there if there is no promise of some heaven, or if no promise of some good thing, if no promise of some promotion. So we go to Lord Venkateshwara, we pray for some promotion, we pray for this, that, etc. So, but if the fruit of it is totally unreal, so nobody would do that. So there is some hope, there is some hope of getting a fruit. Kincha bhogabhagiyasya va apavargabhagiyasya va karmanah. Bhogabhagiyasya, bhogabhak. What is bhogabhak? Bhogabhak means something which is going to lead to bhoga. Then apavargabhak, it is going to lead to apavarga. Bhogabhagiyasya karmanah. Apavargabhagiyasya karmanah, that which is leading to bhoga or that which is leading to apavarga, that is liberation. Phalam utpitsu, that result which is being produced. Yadi nirupakhyam. Akhya means say, we say something, we describe something, that is akhya. Akhyayika, we also have a word akhyayika. Khyati. Nirupakhyam means something which cannot be told, that is unreal, totally unreal. Nirupakhyam, it is used in the sense of unreal. Then taduddeshena, tena nimittena, kusalanushtanam nayujyeta. Taduddeshena, intending such a unreal fruit, intending or what we have, yeah, intended is okay. Intending such unreal fruit, who will do some kushalanusthana for that reason, for that that particular karma. Nimitta is dharma, adharma, karma. Kushalanushthanam na yujyeta. It will not be possible. So would not have been, the good action would not have been so intended and performed if its result were to be totally unreal. Then satasya phalasya nimittam vartamaneekarane samartham na apurvopajanane. Satasya phalasya nimittam. Nimittam is the subject here. Nimittam means karanam. Karanam is dharma and adharma. Nimittam is dharma and adharma. Nimittam, satasya, anvaya of this line is nimittam, any nimittam. Satasya phalasya vartamaneekarane samartham. Up to that point is one clause, one line we can say. Nimittam, any dharma or adharma. Satasya phalasya vartamaneekarane. That is, in bringing into existence the vartamana. Vartamana means something which is real. The nimittam, dharma, etc. is capable of bringing a real fruit into present existence. A real fruit into present. Real fruit into present. Vartamaneekaranam is making it contemporary. Making it present now. Vartamaneekaranam. Vartamana is present. Vartamaneekaranam means something which is made to be present. Vartamaneekaranam. So, the nimittam, dharma, etc. is capable of bringing a real fruit into existence, but not in creating something which did not exist earlier. This is what is it? Na apurvopajanane. Na apurvasya upajananam. Upajananam is new, creating afresh. Apurvam. Apurvam, we should not take the Mimamsakas meaning. Apurva in Vedanta, in Mimamsakas, they have a different meaning. What is that? Suppose I do some yajna, and that yajna, the phalam of that yajna is there in my account as some sort of apurva, and it will be there after death, it will be given. So that is that apurva. But here apurva is na plus purva apurva, which did not exist earlier. So the effect, whatever effect we are seeing, that effect pre-existed in the cause. So that is the basic idea. Taking that idea, he is elaborating. So satasya, this nimittam, any nimittam, dharma, etc. cause is capable of bringing a real fruit into existence, but not creating something which did not exist earlier. Then, siddham nimittam. Siddham is that which is existing now. Siddham. Siddhanga we say in Telugu. Siddham, that which is present here, present now. Siddham nimittam. Naimittikasya visheshanugrahanam kurute. Na apurvam utpadayati iti. Siddham nimittam. The present thing also. Naimittikasya. Naimittikam means that fruit which it is going to give. Naimittikam, which is going to give. Naimittika karma we say. Naimittika karma, because of that nimitta we say. So naimittikasya, of its fruit. Vishesha anugrahanam. That is helping in its manifestation. Anugrahanam, anugrunhati. It is used in a slightly figurative sense. We can say in a slightly literary, or rather, in a literary style. Visheshanugrahanam is helping in its manifestation. Krute, karoti, that is, he does it. Na apurvam utpadayati. It does not bring into existence anything new. So past was brought into present. Past was brought into present because of nimitta, and the present nimittam is going to bring into existence the future. So that is the point. The present is brought into existence by an earlier thing. Now the present dharma is going to bring into existence something which is in the future, but not in creating something which did not exist earlier. The next line is like this: the present cause, dharma, etc., helps in the manifestation of fruit, but does not bring into existence an apurvam, that which did not exist earlier. Future fruit, probably. Future fruit. Yeah, future fruit is not mentioned here. So that is why that word future I have not mentioned, but we have to understand that it is referring to the future. Then the next line, dharmi cha aneka dharma svabhavaha. Tasya cha advabhedena dharmaha pratyavasthitaha. Dharmi, I told you about dharma, dharmi. Dharmi is an object which is having characteristics. Dharmi cha aneka dharma svabhavaha. It is by nature, it is having several properties which manifest in relation to different times. So the same way, when we see the parinama or modification or changes, we even the simplest examples are some chemical changes which we have seen in the laboratories. So an object by nature has several properties which manifest in relation to different times, past, present, and future. न च यथा वर्तमानं व्यक्तिविशेषापन्नं द्रव्यतः अस्ति. What is he saying? न च यथा वर्तमानं व्यक्तिविशेषापन्नं द्रव्यतः अस्ति एवम् अतीतम् अनागतं च. Yeah. Yatha Vartamanam, just as the present is Vyakti Visheshapannam, means it has come into existence. Dravyataha Asti. Dravyataha Asti means it is existing in reality. Evam Atita Anagatancha. Atitam Anagatam is not exactly like that. Why is he saying that? The present we are able to see. Atitam we are not able to see. Anagatam we are not able. We are right now not able to see. So that is what he is going to say. That is why this is use of na. Nacha yatha vartamanam. Just as this vartamanam, the present things are seen. Vyakti visheshapannam, which have manifested. Vyakti is manifestation. Vyakti visheshapannam. Dravyataha asti. It is seen as a physical substance. Evam atita anagatam na tatha. We have to borrow that word tatha also. Yatha vartamanam vyakti visheshapannam dravyatha asti na atitam anagatam na tatha atitam anagatancha. Atitam and anagatam is not like that. Then how then do you say that atitam was there and vartamanam anagatam also will be there? Katham tarhi svenaiva vyangyena swarupena anagatam asti. Svenaiva vyangyena swarupena vyanjanam. Vyanjanam means something which is leading to something else. Vyanjaka, Abhidha, Lakshana, Vyanjana, even while telling about the meanings of words, 3 levels of meanings are told. Abhidha, Lakshana, and Vyanjana. Abhidha is direct meaning. Lakshana is a slightly figurative meaning. Vyanjana means something which is not there, but then it is indicated. So something like Astameti Suryaha. Astameti Surya, the sun is setting. So there is a standard example given in books of literature books. So what does it mean? A brahmachari, very sincere man, brahmachari thinks, oh, Astameti Surya, sun is setting. Immediately he has to run out for, he has to do his Sandhya Vandana before the sun sets. Then a chora, a thief. So he will be thinking, oh, today whose house I have to go and then make a hole in that house. So like that, depending on the nature of a person, Astameti Surya is a totally neutral sentence. It will give so many different meanings to so many people. So that is called Vyangyartha. So Vyangya. So Vyanjena Svenaiva Vyangyena Swarupena means Vyangya Swarupa is what it is leading to the other. It is one thing is leading to another. So in that Swarupa. So what is he saying? The Anagatam, unarrived, is its own potential form. That Vyangyena Swarupena, I could not get a better translation. Maybe I'll have to think of it. Svenaiva Vyangyena, that which is leading to that. Vyanjakam, that is leading to that. Vyangyena Swarupena, Anagatam asti. So Anagatam is present in a potential form. Anagatam, that is future, is present in a potential form in the present. Then Svenacha Anubhuta Vyaktitvena Swarupena Atitam iti. Atitam, the past. How is this past existing? Past or the gone by. It is existing in terms of Anubhuta Vyaktitvena. That Vyaktitvam, that is a manifestation has been experienced. Whose manifestation has been experienced earlier. Svenacha Anubhuta Vyaktitvena Swarupena Atitam iti. Then Vartamanasyaiva Advanaha Swarupa Vyaktihi iti. Nasa bhavati atita anagatayoho advanoho. This is also very clear. Vartamanasyaiva advanaha. So manifestation of a thing in real form is only in the present time. Vartamanasyaiva advanaha, of that time. Vartamanasyaiva advanaha, time. Swarupa vyaktihi iti. So swarupa vyakti means that manifestation in a physical form. Nasa bhavati. Sa is referring to vyaktihi. Vyakti is feminine. Swarupa vyaktihi iti. Na sa vyaktihi. Na bhavati. When atita anagatayoho advanoho. In the past and also in the future. So that it does not happen, that manifestation does not happen in past and future. Then ekasya cha advanah samaye dvavadvanau dharmi samanvagatau bhavata eva iti. So ekasya cha advanah samaye. So when a thing is existing in a particular time, maybe it can be we can refer to past or present or future. If it is there in past or present or future in any of these times, ekasya cha advanah samaye dvau advanau, the other two, that is past and present. So the other two, dvau advanau, dharme samanvagatau bhavata eva. So they are associated, samanvagatau, anugacchati. Anugacchati means following, anu, behind, gacchati, anugacchati, follow. They are following, they are associated, they are closely following, closely together. Dharme samanvagatau bhavata eva. Bhavataha eva. It is in dvivachana, bhavataha. Dharme samanvagatau bhavataha eva. So the other two times, or rather the thing in the past and the thing in the future, dharme samanvagatau means they are there in that dharma in a potential form. One was experienced and one will be there later. So then eva iti, for that reason, iti means for that reason. Hence, na abhutva bhavaha trayanam advanam iti. Na abhutva bhavaha. So abhutva bhavaha means something which did not exist has come into existence. Na sato vidyate bhavo. That is it. Na abhutva bhavaha trayanam advanam iti. For all the three stages, or for the object in all the three stages. For all the three stages, or for an object in all the three stages. Na abhutva bhavaha. So there is no such thing as something non-existent coming into existence. Then, yeah, te vyakta sukshmaha gunatmanaha. Then what are they? What they referring to? The same objects or characteristics. Te vyakta sukshmaha gunatmanaha. We are just going into some metaphysical details of this Sankhya Sutra, Sankhya Shastra. And in the next sutra, we are also going to see something about Buddhist, some refutation of a Buddhist idea. So, te vyakta sukshmaha gunatmanaha. So they means they are referring to the objects or characteristics. Vyakta sukshmaha. Vyakta sukshmaha. Vyakta is not adjective of sukshmaha. It looks like that, but vyakta is not adjective. Vyakta sukshmaha. Te vyaktascha sukshmascha. That is it. They are both manifest and also subtle. Vyaktaha sukshmascha. Te, those objects. Te vishayaha. Athava tani vastuni. Vyaktani sukshmani cha, something like that. So vyaktaha sukshmaha gunatmanaha, that means they are their atma, the very nature. Atma means nature, the very self, very self. Their very self is guna. So they are basically nothing but guna. Guna, transformation of gunas only, and nothing else. What all we see in the whole universe is only a composition, various types of composition, things mixing in infinite proportions. So that is what various things are. So this gunatmanaha, they are composed of gunas. The objects or characteristics are in the manifest state, or in manifest state, or in subtle state, and they are composed of gunas. Instead of composed, I should use a better word here. Gunatmanaha. Their very self is gunas. Gunatmanaha. Their very self, yeah, they are of the nature of gunas, not composed of. I will change it anyway. They are of the nature of gunas. Then te kalvami triyadvano dharmaha vartamanaha vyaktatmanaha atita anagataha sushmatmanaha shad vishesha rupaha. Te khalu ami triyadvano dharmaha. Dharmaha, these objects, triyadvanaha. Triyadvanaha means which are there in the three stages, which are there in the three times. Triyadvanaha. Trishu advasu, we can say adva. I'm not sure whether it must be feminine, maybe, in which case we should say tisrushu advasu. In all the three times, past, present and future, these objects or characteristics, vartamanaha vyaktatmanaha atita anagataha. These things, you see, first let me read the English first. These objects or characteristics are of three time periods. The period, the present are those which are manifest. Vartamanaha vyaktatmanaha. Yeah, I should have put a comma here. Vartamanaha vyaktatmanaha. Atita anagataha sukshmatmanaha. So that is what it is. Vyartamanaha vyaktatmanaha. The present things are those which are manifest. Atita anagataha, past and also the future, are in the subtle form. They are in a latent form. So the Atita Anagataha Sukshmatmanaha. Then Shad Visheshaha. So they are the modification of the six tattvas. The six tattvas, what are they? So we have seen in that Sankhya hierarchy, Prakriti is something which is unseen. Unseen means not seen by the sense, not cognizable to the sense by the senses. Then the first note thing which can be noticed is Mahat. Mahat, what we in Vedanta, what we call it, Hiranyagarbha. That Mahat is something, it is something which is first manifestation. And from that, the cosmic ego, the self, I, and from that, the Tanmatras. So this from I and the cosmic I and Tanmatras, they undergo all those changes. So in that Sankhya 24 tattvas, which Sankhya system enumerates, the six tattvas starting from Mahat are Vikritis, which respect to Mahat, we should not include that Ahankara, then Tanmatrani. They evolve into all those things. Then the Ahankara and also the five Tanmatras, the six tattvas starting from Mahat are Vikritis with respect to their preceding tattva, and are Prakritis with respect to the later evolutes. So that is why he said Shad Vishesha Rupaha means Shannam Vishesha Rupaha. They are the special manifestations. They are the special different forms of those six. Of those six means in the Sankhya system we have seen Prakriti. There are certain things Prakriti Vikrutayaha. They are Prakritis with respect to their evolutes and Vikritis with respect to the previous ones. And Shodashakastu Vikaraha. So 16, they are only Vikaras. From them, nothing more is produced. For example, the sense organs, motor organs, then Pancha Pranas. So from these, there is nothing further is produced. So these are the final evolutes. So they are the modifications of the six tattvas. Then Sarvamidam Gunanam Sannivesha Vishesha Matramiti Paramarthato Gunatmanaha. Sarvamidam, what all we see, Sarvamidam, what all we see in the universe, Gunanam Sannivesha Vishesha Matram. Gunanam Sannivesha. Sannivesha means different configuration, different composition. So much this is these gunas, they mix in so many types of proportions. So you just we can visualize that. Gunanam Sannivesha. In one particular thing there is a dominance of Sattva Guna. In another place there is a dominance of Rajo Guna. So like that. And that Rajo Guna also the degrees will vary from 0 to 99. Maybe 0.5 of Sattva Guna and 0.5 of some other thing. So like that, Sarvamidam Gunanam Sannivesha Vishesha Matram. So all this is due to different composition of the gunas, but Paramarthataha Gunatmanaha. Iti means so, Vishesha Matram iti, because it is so, all this is due to so and so. Paramarthataha Gunatmanaha. Paramarthataha means in reality, in essence, in their essence. Paramartha Satyam and Vyavaharika Satyam we use in Vedanta. Paramartha means something which is there, of course, transcendental in that sense. Paramartha, that is the highest sense of higher degree. No, that is the supreme reality, what we call. Those Paramarthataha here, essentially, Gunatmanaha, they are gunas in their essence. Then Tathacha Shastranushasana. So the Shastram says like that. Anushasanam means Shastra is ordering like this, is issuing a direction like this. Shastra. What is the meaning of Shastra? Shasti iti Shastram. Shamsati iti Shastram. There are two derivations. Shasti iti Shastram is something which gives a direction. You do this, don't do this. Shamsati iti Shastram. That is, Shamsati means Prashamsati. Shamsanam means Prashamsanam. It tells, oh, there is something called moksha. Moksha is something which cannot be mandated. All of the dharma is mandated. Dharma, artha, kama, they are mandatory. Mandatory in the sense, there is no mandate that you have to pursue kama, but then if you are pursuing artha and kama, it has to be done in the framework of dharma. That is something which is mandatory. Whereas moksha cannot be mandatory. Moksha, okay, it only tells, oh, there is something called moksha. If you are in these three Trivarga only, you will be just going around the cycle of birth and death. So you have to break off from this cycle of birth and death. So if you want to do that, there is something called moksha. You try for that. So it is shamsati, prashamsati. So shamsanat shastram, shasanat shastram, shasti iti shastram, shamsati iti shastram. So that way. So here, shastra anushasanam. Okay, what is this shasanam? Gunanam paramam rupam na drushtipatham ruchyati. Gunanam paramam rupam. What is the paramam rupam? The highest form, the supreme level of the gunas, the supreme form of the gunas is something which is prakriti. It is not seen. It is not known to the senses. Prakriti is something which is what we call pradhana. It is not some which is not that is why it is called avyakta, unmanifest. Avyaktam vyaktimapannam. Now, next thing is it manifests. Avyakta becomes vyakti. So the supreme level of gunas, that is prakriti, I could have put it in the brackets, prakriti also, is not known to the senses. And what is known to senses is totally a very paltry thing. Yattu drushti, gunanam paramam rupam, na drushtipatham ruchyati. Ruchyati means ruchyati attains. Ruchyati actually means attains also. Na drushtipatham ruchyati. Drushtipatham ruchyati means it is not in the cognition. It is not, drushtipatham means it is not known to the senses. It is not known to any senses. Drushti not only means sight, eyesight, it also means other senses, activity of other senses also. Na drushtipatham ruchyati, yattu drushtipatham praptam, and whatever is seen, whatever is known by us, whatever is known, is a totally paltry thing. Why is it paltry? Tan mayeva sutuchakam. Drushtipatham praptam, tat maya iva. Tat, whatever is seen in the Drushtipatham praptam, tat maya iva. Like maya, it is sutuchakam. It is something which is tucham. Sutuchakam, that word su, that letter su, is probably to fill the fit into the chandas. Otherwise, it will not fit into chandas. Tan mayeva sutuchakam. Tuchakam is what tucham, something which is it is there today and it is not there tomorrow. So it is like that. So totally ephemeral, changing, decaying, all those adjectives. Sutuchakam, something which is so totally transient. So that is why it is something which is paltry. It is so totally today's pleasure it is not there tomorrow. So it's like that. So the next sutra, yeah, there is a small avatarika. Yada tu sarve gunaha katham ekaha shabdaha ekam indriyamiti. So here again a small doubt about is going into slight details about the evolution of the elements also, the five elements, Prithvi, Apaha, Tejo, Vayu, Akasha, and also the five sense organs. This is something which we don't find normally in religions. But in our case, both the Upanishads and also all our scriptures, they are both religion and also philosophy. Because something which is based on philosophy, suppose even our definition of God, is something not some prophet or somebody has told. It is something which is the result of the tapas, or rather the meditation of so many rishis. Meditation means all the contemplation instead of meditation. We can say contemplation. So many rishis, so many sages contemplated without any agenda to establish any religion. So they wanted to find out what is the ultimate reality. So they said it is something which is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, that infinitely existing consciousness, they said. So similarly, so when that consciousness, you have to account for this universe from that consciousness. So if you have to account for the universe, they have to visualize some sort of mechanism. So that mechanism, that is what we were talking about, the theory of causation. Theory of causation. Whether there is a person called God, suppose now we say that there is Advaita Vedanta, at the highest level, it does not talk about any person. At a lower level, okay, you accept any person, it doesn't matter. Yo, yam, tanum, accept any personality. So then, that way, is he creating something afresh? Or is it appearing? What is that supreme reality or consciousness is appearing as this whole phenomena, all this phenomena? So that is what is the question. So this metaphysics is part and parcel of both philosophy and also religion. So yadatu sarve gunaha, all these, what all we see is gunas, all transformations are gunas. Katham ekaha shabdaha ekam indriyamiti. So ekah shabdah. One is the sense object. Shabda means sense object. Shabda, not only shabda, shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha. We have to take all those into account. Shabda, all the five sense objects. One is a sense object and one is indriyam. So here what we have to see is the same gunas, they partly transform into sattva aspect of it, they partly transform into the mind and the senses, and the rajas and tamas aspect, they transform into what is called the body mind, body, the physical body, and also various universe, also all objects in the universe, because there is a eater and the eaten. So everywhere, even the Upanishads, they say Rayim cha pranam cha, says one Upanishad. Rai is annam, pranam is the eater, the annam is eaten. So there is what is called eater and the eaten. So that is that is one way of looking at all the whole universe. There is the eater and the eaten. The whole universe, there are only two things. So that way. So here also, the one is knowing. Eater means knower, experiencer, let us say. So one is a knower, the other is known. So there is ekam shabdah, ekam indriyamiti. So it is all what Sankhya says is the same gunas. Sankhya, they compare these gunas, the Prakriti, to a Shailushi, a dancer, an accomplished dancer, let us say. So that dancer, she is presenting herself before that the Lord, let us say, Purusha. And the same Prakriti is transforming into both the objects and also into the objects of experience, into the sense organs which do experience, the object of perception, and also the instrument of perception, object of perception, and also the instrument of perception, and is giving happiness to that Purusha, giving bhoga to the Purusha. So that is what they say. Then let us see the sutra. Parinamaikatvad vastu tattvam parinamasya ekatvat. Parinama ekatvat means parinamasya ekatvat. So that is the parinama. Parinama means the transformation or whatever modification goes on. Transformation is fine. That whatever change goes on or transformation goes on is rather one ekatvat, not necessarily one. It is something which is uniform in nature. Suppose the three gunas, they are producing a cow, let us say. So while producing a cow, so those gunas have to mix in a particular fashion, in a particular formula, let us say. A particular formula they have to mix, and then they have to make a cow. So the three gunas, they are making a human being. They have to mix in a slightly different type, and then they have to form a human being. The same three gunas have to mix in a different form and make some mosquito or some other thing. So like that, the uniformity. All lions, they have got a formula. All tigers, there is a formula. We do not know what we call it. I don't know whether we can call it some sort of DNA, whatever it is. So all the three gunas, they have to form into, they have a uniform process of transformation. So that is what we have to see here. We have to take here. Does not mean that parinama is only one. Parinama ekatvat means parinama is one uniform formula, one uniform in nature, let us say. Then vastu tattvam, the object so transformed, is also of the same nature. Vastu tattvam, the word tattvam is used in a slightly literal sense. Tattvam is, even tattvamasi, not tattvamasi. Any vastu tattvam, when we say tattvam, tattvam is tasya bhavaha tattvam, that is what we say. Here also, tattvam is used in a slightly different sense. Tathatvam, just as the transformation, in accordance with the transformation, as the transformation is gunas, vastu also, the object so transformed, is also of the same nature. Because the same formula is used to the three gunas, they follow the same formula to produce one cow. And all other cows also, they have produced with the same formula. So the vastu tattvam, the object so transformed, is also of the same nature. So that is what it means. Parinama ekatvad vastu tattvam. As the transformation of gunas is one, the object so transformed is also of the same nature. As the transformation of gunas is one or uniform in nature, the object so transformed is also of the same nature. The word tattvam is used in a literal sense, tathatvam. Tathatvam is being exactly like that. Tathatvam. Tadrushatvam. Tadrushatvam. It is Tadrushatvam or Tathatvam. And then bring a being of the same nature as the transformation. The tanmatra of sound transforms as the sense of hearing when the sattva is dominant, and transforms as the sound when tamas is dominant. So you see, Prakriti, the sattva, rajas, tamo guna, the tanmatra of sound, let us say, the tanmatra of sound, when the sattva guna is dominant, it becomes the sense organ, the sense of hearing. Then the rajo, under the tamo guna aspect, the tamo guna aspect of it forms the sense object. So like that. All other senses and sense objects we have to visualize accordingly. Then prakhya kriya sthiti shilanam gunanam grahanatmakanam karana bhavena ekah parinamah shrotram indriyam. Prakhya kriya sthiti shilanam gunanam. Gunaha, these three words we got it earlier also. Prakhya kriya sthiti, we got it earlier also. Kya means knowing. Prakhya, prakashena khyatihi. That is knowing. That is knowledge. Knowledge means related to sattva. That is prakhya, knowing. Kriya, activity. That is rajas. Sthiti, static. That is tamoguna. Sattva, rajas and tamoguna. Sthiti shilanam. Sthiti shilanam gunanam means of the gunas, of the three gunas, which are of the nature of sila. Shilam is the nature, isn't it? Nature of prakhya, kriya and sthiti. Then when they are grahanatmakanam, when the gunas are in their apprehending mode or knowing mode, grahanatmakam. So when they are in that grahanatmaka, gunas when they are in that grahanatmaka, then karana bhavena ekah parinamaha. Karana bhavena, karana means instrument. Karana bhavena, in the form of karana bhavena. Bhava means existence, something which is bhava means an object, let us say. Karana bhavena, in the form of an object, ekah parinamaha. So one parinama is in the form of a sense organ, that is shrotram indriyam. Ekah parinamaha shrotram indriyam. Then the same gunas, when they are grahanatmakaha, they form indriyam. When they are grahyatmaka means object which is being perceived. Grahanam means grabbing, grunhati, grubhnati, grabbing. They are again cognate words. Grahanam is catching. Surya Grahana, Chandra Grahana also. Then Grahyam. Grahyam means something which is taken, that which is grabbed. So Grahyatmakanam Shabda Tanmatra Bhavena Ekah Parinamaha Shabdo Vishayaha iti. Shabda Tanmatra Bhavena. That is Tanmatra. Yeah, in the mode of things apprehended or perceived. Grahyatmakanam Shabda Tanmatra Bhavena Ekah Parinamaha Shabdaha Vishayaha iti. So earlier it was Shrotram Indriyam. Here it is Shabdaha Vishayaha. So one becomes Indriyam, the other aspect becomes the Shabda or the sense object. Then the gunas, they transmute in two ways. They change, transmute in two ways. What? Firstly, as sense organs. Yeah, I told this. When the sattva component is active, and secondly, as the sense objects, when the tamas component is in play. The same gunas transform into instruments of enjoyment and the objects of enjoyment for the enjoyment, for the bhoga or liberation. Not only bhoga, bhogaya apavargakyam. Bhoga and apavarga, they are the two results, isn't it? Bhoga and apavarga of Purusha. Purusha also is, he looks like a bound person. So that apparent bondage, from that apparent bondage, he has to get rid of. So we are all, it is not real bondage, apparent bondage. So from that apparent bondage, we have to get out. So that for samana jatiyanam ekah parinamaha pruthivi paramanuhu tanmatravayavaha. The internet connection is unstable. Let us see. Shabdadinam murti samana jatiyanam. Shabdadi, that is Vishayas, all the Shabdas. That is Murti Samana Jatiyana. Murti means something which has got a form is Murti. And what is it that has a form? That is earth. Anything that is anything to do with Prithvi. Anything which is to do with Prithvi is something which has got a form, which is also having that hardness. Prithvi, there are certain characteristics, isn't it? That Murti, that form is there. characteristic, then the hardness is there. So all those things they constitute. Murti samana jatiyanam shabdanam, we have to say. So the transformation of shabda, etc., which are of the same class as other elements as earth, it's a complicated construction in Sanskrit. So exact translation I have made, but if I have to make a more loose translation, Murti samana jatiyanam shabdadinam, that is elements like earth, and sound. That is a more simple way of translating. The things which are belonging to the same class, that is elements like Prithvi or Shabda. Ekah parinamah, Prithvi paramanuhu, tanmatra avayava. Ekah parinamah, one transformation of change only. Prithvi paramanuhu, tanmatra avayava. That is one atom of earth. So it is transforming into, the gunas are transforming into. So this Sankhya also is accepting something like Paramanu, not exactly like the Paramanu of the Vaisheshikas, but they are also accepting something like a Paramanu. First thing is they form a Paramanu, and all the Paramanus, they come together and then they become an object. So the one atom of earth, which is a part of Tanmatra Avayavaha. So that Tanmatra, part of it is become, why is it called Avayava? Part of it is becoming the sense organ and part of it is becoming sense object. So that is why it is called Tanmatra Avayava. So the word Murti means that which has a form and hardness, that is earth. The same class of Tanmatras means all Prithvi Tanmatras come together. All Prithvi Tanmatras come together and form Prithvi. Jala Tanmatras, they come together and form Jalam. And the same Jala Tanmatra, part of it becomes Jalam and part of it becomes the Rasanendriya. So part of it is Indriya and part of it is object. So come together. This is all hypothesis. If you want, if you challenge for proof, there cannot be any proof because it is a sort of hypothesis. Slightly better than a belief. Slightly better than a belief because it is something which is trying to visualize what can be a very scientific or very convincing way, or rather very logical way of understanding things. Teshancha ekah parinamah Prithvi, Gauhu, Vrikshaha, Parvataha, ityevamadi. Of those atoms, there is ekah parinamah. There is one uniform transformation. Here also I could have put that word uniform. One uniform formula transformation. Prithvi, Gauhu, Vrikshaha, Parvataha, ityevamadi. Then Bhutantareshvapi. Bhutantareshu means in other bhutas, in other elements also, in the case of other elements also. Then Sneha, Aushnya, Pranamitva, Avakashadananyupadaya. Bhutantareshu is Sneha. Sneha is, one meaning of Sneha is friendship. Another meaning of Sneha is a sticky thing, any sticky thing, naturally oil actually. Sneha actually refers to ghee. But somehow, Vyasa in Vyasa Bhashya, earlier also we got this word Sneha while referring to water. Sneha means something stickiness, we can say. Stickiness, water we touch, and then there is something not exactly sticky. Ardrata, that is being wetness, so that is what is the characteristic. But here we can take it as wetness or stickiness. Aushnya, being hot. Pranamitva means being flexible. Vayu, it is so flexible it can fit into any shape. Then Avakasha Danani. Avakasha Datru Akasham, isn't it? Avakasha Datru Akasha. That is what Avakasha Datru means. It is giving space to all of us. Space is something which is actually in which all things exist. The whole universe exists. So the whole universe, for that whole universe, Avakasha Datru Akasha. So Avakasha Danani Upadaya. Upadaya means having taken them. Samanyam Yekavikara Arambha Samadheyaha. Samanyam Yekavikara Arambha Samadheyaha. It should be accepted. Samadheyaha means Samadhanam. Samadhanam means a reply. Samadheyaha means it has to be agreed upon. It has to be accepted. So that is the meaning. Or I have written, it should be understood that Samadheyaha, it should be understood that in the case of other elements too, there is one uniform transformation taking into account the qualities such as stickiness, heat, flexibility, and giving space to all. So we should think of those tanmatras which are having this particular property of stickiness. They all form water and also sense organ. So all tanmatras which are having this property of heat, they become heat, physical heat, and also what we call rupa, heat actually, tejas. Tejas is rupa, and we are able to see, not the physical body, rupa. Flexibility, vayu. Vayu again, that is with this sparsha, then giving space to all. So that is shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha, what we say. Then a single object, a single sense object is produced. The three gunas interact uniformly while producing an element such as air, such as earth or water, taking into account qualities such as form, stickiness, heat, etc. Then now Buddhists, now there are a couple of lines refuting the Buddhist Vada. Of course, in the next sutra, he is going to refute the Buddhist Vada. Here he is making a base for that. The Buddhist doctrine of Vijnanavada. That the Vijnanavada is, whatever we see, it is a part of our knowledge only. I am seeing a chair. So it is where it is in my brain, in my mind it is there. The physical object is not there, or the physical object is a creation of the mind. So that is what is their argument. Of course, it is not as simple as that. There are certain logical anumana prayoga. They also, the Buddhist logic also is rather very highly evolved logic. So they have got certain ways of saying that anumana pramana. In fact, I have not noted. So they also have that anumana pramana to say that what all exists is something which is a product. It's the creation of the mind. In fact, it is a drushti sushtivada, which Vedanta also partly accepts. It is also similar to that, drushti sushtivada, because there is a drushti, there is srushti. So Buddhist doctrine of Vijnanavada, there is no objective universe apart from consciousness, is being refuted below. Nastyarthaha vijnana visahacharaha astitu jnanam artha visahacharam swapnadau kalpitam. This is one logic. Nastyarthaha vijnana visahacharaha. Suppose I close my eyes. When I close my eyes, there is no universe. I don't see anything. So there is no object without associated with the vijnana, that is without associated with knowledge. But knowledge can exist without an object, because the knowledge again, it is when I sleep also, it is producing, it is creating something, it is having such a mental picture creations, so many mental creations. So that is what is the logic used here. Nasti arthaha means nasti arthaha vijnana visahacharaha. Sahachara means an accompanying person. Sahachara, he is my sahachara. Sahachari, we say. Sahachari is Jivita Sahachari, that is the wife. So Sahacharaha, that is the associate. Visahacharaha means without. Vi is without. Vigataha. Vijnana Visahacharaha means unassociated with consciousness, unassociated with intelligence. There is no object unassociated with knowledge or intelligence or consciousness. Asti tu jnanam artha visahacharam. Jnanam artha visahacharam. Without an object, there is jnanam. Swapnadau kalpitam. It is there in the swapna, this swapnadau. Swapna adau. We have to see what he means by adau, adi. Swapnadau kalpitam. Maybe daydreaming also. Ityanaya disha. In this way, ye vastu swarupam apahnuvate. Ye means ye janaha. Those people who, ye janaha, vastu swarupam apahnuvate, they do not accept actually what exists. Apahnavaha. Apahnava means just not accepting what is there. That is it, apahnava. Then what else do they say? Jnana parikalpana matram vastu. So vastu is something which is a mere parikalpana. It is something which is created by the mind only. Jnana parikalpana matram vastu. Swapna vishayopamam. It is something equal to what we see in the swapna. An object which is seen in swapna. Na paramarthatah asti. There is actually no reality in a sense. Essentially, there is no reality. There is na paramarthatah. There is no paramartha existence. Means there is no real existence for that. Iti ya ahuhu. Ya ahuhu means ye ahuhu. Iti those who say, te tatha iti pratyupasthapitam idam. Tatha iti. Tatha, in this way it is. Tatha evam. Tatha means it is like this, idam evam asti iti. Te tatheti pratyupasthapitam idam. So this object which we are seeing, which is right in front of us, pratyupasthapitam idam, swamahatmyena vastu, by its own mahatmya, by its own mahatmya, here it does not, mahatma does not mean mahatmyam, by its own greatness, not exactly greatness, by its own, what have I written? I have not written anything. So swamahatmyena vastu, by its own strength, let us say, on its own strength it is available, on its own strength the vastu is available. Katham apramanatmakena vikalpa jnana balena. How can it be denied by apramanatmakena vikalpa jnana balena? By your vikalpa jnana. Vikalpa is Shabda Jnananupati Vastu Shunya. We just listen to, we just hear, listen to a word, and that word is giving a mental picture. So that's all. Vikalpa Jnana, it all that becomes Vikalpa Jnana. How can that Vikalpa Jnanam, which is not actually a Pramana, Vikalpa Jnana is not actually a Pramana. So how do you depend on what is not a Pramana? Katham Apramanatmakena Vikalpa Jnana Balena. How can you depend on something, depending on some Vikalpa Jnana which is not a Pramana? How can you refute Vastu Swarupam Utsrujya? You are rejecting the Vastu Swarupam. Tadeva Apalapantaha. You are not accepting it. Tadeva Apalapantaga. How can they be? Shraddheya Vachanasyuhu. So the whole para is one line. So I have to make it into a very long sentence. While explaining, I have broken into small lines. So overall point is, those people who say that there is no object unassociated with consciousness, but consciousness is there associated with an object. So and then vastu, any object, is something which is jnanamatra, kalpana matra, which is mere kalpana. In na paramarthata, there is no real existence for that. So how can they deny something which is right now in front of us by its own strength? And how can their words be credible or trustworthy? How can they be Shraddheya Vachanaha Siho? Shraddheya Vachanaha, again, means the people whose words are trustworthy. Shraddheyaha Vachana, Shraddheyani Vachanani Yesham Te Shraddheya Vachanaha. Vachanam is Napumsaka, I think. Yeah, Napumsaka. Shraddheyani Vachanani Yesham Te Shraddheya Vachanaha. Bahurihi here also. So how can they be people of dependable words? How can they be people of trustworthy words? I think the time is also over. Okay. Srinivas? Srinivas, please. Srinivas, relaxing.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, right, thank you.
There are no questions, sir, today also.
Okay, probably it is too confusing, I don't know. Anyway, let us see. Harihi Om Tat Sat.